work session. I think we all have it. So let's run through it. In particular, gasoline ordinance. Did the attorney, other attorneys here, Attorney Gray is here. Let's run through the council. This is not a new ordinance. It's an old gasoline ordinance that we have now that we're collecting on, but we can't seem to find it. So I think, Mr. Attorney, you want to come and go through this for us? First of all, everyone has an agenda, and on the agenda is the gasoline ordinance. And that's an item I want to make sure that the attorney spend a few minutes on. Let's go through that. Okay. We have minutes of October 14th. Honorable council members have been circulated. All of y'all have them. Any questions on minutes? I have a minutes. Okay. Now, Veterans Day, next council meeting, November the 11th. Right. So, honorable council members, that is a holiday, an official holiday, and we need to decide whether or not we want to hold a council meeting on that particular day. We are planning to recognize our veterans probably all that week. They deserve to be recognized, not only for just a day, but for the entire week for their service to our country. And I spoke to Chairman Maxwell. There's going to be a Veterans Day parade on the 14th, Friday during the day, so that the students can take place, can participate. So, what is the desire of the council? Is okay? Okay. Mr. Lee, we want to try to recognize your schedule. On Veterans Day, the 11th.
Okay. We scheduled the city closing.
Well, yeah, it's a holiday, it's an official holiday, so the employees, they are off that day.
So about the following, so what day is that for you?
21st.
Yeah, you were following Tuesday.
How's that look? How's that look?
Or even, if you all want to do it the following next Thursday, that same week, to do one.
So, which?
Thursday is fine. I'm flexible, Ms. Councilman, you got a fair say.
Just do it that Thursday.
That Thursday? 13th? Breast Cancer Awareness Reception, October 30th. Put that in your agenda. Put that on the agenda. Like to. It's going to be at, should be Thomas Reed, R-E-E-D. Okay, council updates are pretty standard. Now, the budget hearing, honorable council members, we are scheduling for 6:15. And at that time, we'll go through the budget. The city manager has put the figures to it and talked about the 3%. Well, did you miss the session? I think you may not have been there. We talked about some compensation for the employees and we talked about a 3%. So we're going to wait for the recommendation from the city manager. Essentially, we talked about a 3%, either in one lump sum or 3% added to the salaries. And that the city manager would, any other adjustments would be made based upon his recommendations that would be made to the council for the council to approve any other adjustments which would come later, whenever he's ready for those. But we want to go ahead and try to hopefully have a hearing this evening and adopt the budget by the end of November, by the end of October, by the end of this month. Okay, so budget hearing, 6:15. So Madam Clerk, you let us know when that time arrives. Council updates, street maintenance, city council general appointments to utility board. Okay. All right. As the council knows, I've had the honor of serving on our utilities board, and it has been an outstanding opportunity to serve over the last 2 years. And during that time period, we've had a chance, I think, to really strengthen our utilities board. And I think it's in good shape. It's been a challenge to try to do both. And it was a great joy to be able to do both over the last 2 years. But as time goes on, I'd like to concentrate more on the position of mayor of our city and work on those issues. And what's good about this form of government, one person doesn't have to do it all. Any one of us can serve in any of these positions. And so I plan to, at the next utility board, have a briefing with everyone, go through everyone, and certainly express my appreciation for having had an opportunity to serve as on the utilities board and as chairman, and to certainly offer my resignation at that particular time. But I can tell you, it's been a real joy being able to work on the city side and the utility side. So I'm glad to see that we have that on the agenda tonight. Hey, Mr. Pro Tem. Talking about we're going down the council agenda, and essentially where the minutes were in order, talked about the council meeting being set on the 13th instead of the 11th because of Veterans Day. Veterans Day is the day that we have as a holiday, so it's a consensus that we just meet on the 13th.
Thursday.
Yeah, the 13th. And Veterans Day, there's a parade scheduled for the 14th. budget hearing due at 6:15. And at that time, we talked about the 3% as we indicated earlier. And also we talked about the city manager making other adjustments. And he'll make those recommendations to us at a later time. Okay. Then I was just indicating on the utilities board, city council appointments to the utilities board. We have that on the agenda because yours truly is president serving on the utilities board, and it has, as I was saying earlier, has been a real joy to serve for the last 2 years. But being responsible for 2 has been somewhat of a challenge. And I want you to know that it has been a labor of love, because I think we've accomplished the major things that we had to do on the utility side, like one, the franchise fee percentage is now established, where the city receives 5% of the franchise fee for the total system. That was a major challenge that we had to address, and that has now been done. And the other major factor is, now that that has been done, it means that the city has a steady flow and the proper flow of income from the utilities board. So essentially, both of our bodies, the utility board and the city government, are on a sound financial basis. I'm also very pleased that we have not had the necessity, it has not been necessary for us to increase the rates, the electrical rates, the water rates, during this administration over the last 2 years. So I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. What I would like to do over the next couple of years is concentrate more on the position of mayor, developing our city, resources, promoting Tuskegee as a historic site, following up on complaints that our citizens have, and those issues that all of us know that we have to deal with on a day-by-day basis. Utilities in good shape, and any one of us can do that now. I was pleased to have had the opportunity to, 2 years ago, when we first came into office, there were some major challenges facing utilities boards. Lawsuits, the running of a 10-mile sewer line was a major project ahead of us, and of course the issues surrounding the franchise fee. But all of those things now behind us, and the utilities board is in good shape. So the council can deal with the appointment today. I had given some thought to it and had planned to. Our next utilities board meeting is on the 4th, I believe.
Election day.
And yeah, we've got to decide what we're going to do, whether or not we want it then or at that time. But I had planned to offer my resignation to the utilities board and thank them for the opportunity to serve over the last 2 years, and to let them know that my concentration now is going to be on the city side as mayor. Of course, the city and the utility board must always continue to work hand in hand, but whoever is appointed to the utilities board, I'm sure will make sure that takes place. So, honorable council members, we can make that appointment tonight. Financial report, the city manager has a financial report. The Head Start reports are here, and they're all in order. The RDS contract, you have it now, right? Everyone has a copy of the RSD. They're the ones who collect forest and undiscovered business license. The 4% fuel tax ordinance. This is the one I wanted the attorney to spend a few moments going through.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, good afternoon. Okay. You have before you a proposed ordinance. It says ordinance 2014, but actually it's ordinance 2015 dash whatever is the number. I think this is number one. Number one. And this is an ordinance to ratify and confirm the existing gasoline and motor fuel tax rates and repeals all previous gasoline and motor fuel ordinances. For those who have been on the council for a while, or perhaps studied city government for a while, you know that there have been various increases over the years, starting with when the city, I think, had a 1% tax on the distribution or sale of gasoline and other fuels. But it's gone from 1% and now it's at 4%. Has been at 4% for several years. This, even going back to 2013, when the gasoline tax warrants, when we had the bond financing about a year ago. In any event, this ordinance simply helps to make it clear that the rate is the same now as it has been for quite a while. And it's not increasing, it's just we've got 4 cents within the city limits and 2 cents in the police jurisdiction, which I don't think there are any gas stations or places that sell gasoline products within your police jurisdiction.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You said there are no gas stations that sell gas within the police jurisdiction at this time.
I don't think so.
Will this cover it? Do we need to have something in there to cover it, or does this cover that also?
This covers that.
Okay, I was thinking, I'm sorry.
Right, this covers that. No problem. And then there are just provisions in the ordinance. For instance, we got the license tax imposed, section 1. Section 2, excuse me. Section 1 is just definitions, as you see. Section 3, exemption of purchases from other distributors or sellers. So if that's one distributor sells to another distributor, then that second distributor won't have to pay the tax for selling because it's already paid by that first distributor. That's an exception. And that's typical for that line of business and for municipalities as they tax. You don't want a double tax because then you end up really double taxing the purchaser who will end up paying. Also, there is a requirement that the sales are written on you have to have receipts so that the city can track the sales of the gasoline. Permitted license tax where no place of business in the city, section 6, that's typical. Any business that fails to report their income or their taxes violates the code and is a continuing offense for which they can be fined. There is a schedule that tells when the tax must be paid, and that is everything is levied on the 20th of the month. There is a duty to furnish information to the city manager. And then, as said, you have penalties for violation. And then the last 3 sections are boilerplate. Simply says that any ordinances that exist now that are in conflict with the current ordinance or with this proposed ordinance are hereby repealed. If by chance any part of this ordinance is found to be unconstitutional or unenforceable, then that particular part will be not enforced, but that will not affect the validity of the balance of the ordinance. And this will become effective upon passage and publication as required by law. That is a summary of this ordinance, and So at the appropriate time, it'll be tendered to you for the first reading. I'll be happy to answer
Today.
your questions. Today.
Yes, first reading.
Right.
So, honorable council members, any questions?
No, just understanding that the reason we're doing this is,
When they researched, they were not able to find the actual ordinance. All of our ordinance should be in one book, it should be codified, is what it's called, codified, so that we can, through prosperity, through time, forever, we should be able to. But somehow, I think during the Neal administration, they were not able to find it, and he certified that it did exist. But to be safe, the easiest thing to do is just go back and just do one. And,
so the only other question I have, Mayor, Mr. Attorney,
yes,
so that the citizens understand, so that we understand clearly, there's no increase in tax.
Correct.
This is
There's no
the
increase.
existing tax, we're just verifying, validating that the existing tax is here in the ordinance and we're securing it. Now, how do we secure this for the future so that we don't have to look for it again?
Well, it'll
we
be,
got a clerk who's going to ensure that happens now, that we keep up with all these ordinances.
The clerk is with the consultant right now,
Hold it back.
developing the constitution.
Thank you, I thought we were looking for it. Thank you. No other questions.
Okay, great. So no new tax, just putting this one in place.
now there is one clause that we're still researching, and that is the ground in, or the grade in area, that's line 2, Article 9, gasoline tax. I'm still trying to find where that is. The clerk has assisted by providing the code of ordinances that she has, but there must be a more recent one because the reference here is not the same as the reference that's in this book. Right. But substantively, it's the same.
Clear?
When you
Yes,
say
sir.
the same, if we don't have, is it a standard ordinance, I guess, that, all cities use for gas tax ordinance? If we don't have the old, how do we know if it's the same?
Well, the point is, we're charging the same amount, the 4%. Right.
4 cents.
Right, thank you.
2 cents in the city and 2 cents in EJ, police jurisdiction. The money is the same. This is just to back it up and give us the ordinance that they can't find. Okay? And the only other announcements about that time, store opening, announcement, farmers, furniture. Did they give a potential date? Let us know when. For the farmers, we appreciate it all of y'all.
The total is gonna come before us today.
Okay.
Let us know what
Okay. Fuel tax, and that's it. Okay. I think we're all set and ready. I want to say good evening to all of you and thank you so much for attending this meeting of the Tuskegee City Council. I hereby call to order this October 28, 2014 meeting of the Tuskegee City Council. I'd like to ask all of you to please let us join together in prayer by repeating the Lord's Prayer in unison and remain standing and let us together salute the flag of the United States of America. Let us pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from Thank you all so very, very much for the emotional period. We will now go to our roll call and ask our city clerk, Ms. Fatima Clark, to please call the roll.
Mayor Ford,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Haygood,
Here.
Councilwoman Goldman. Here. Councilwoman Whitehead. Here. Councilman Lee.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, all members of the council are present.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kirk. We'll now go to the approval of the agenda. I'd like to put on the agenda just a discussion for a package store. They requested to be approved. Tuskegee Spirits, I believe, is the package store, Mr. Alexander, and some others that we want to ask the city manager if he could move forward on that one. It's proposed to go in the same place where Mr. Baldwin had the package store once before, on the corner there, Cody's Corner. Any other items to go on the agenda?
Yes.
Yes. Ready?
Application for rezoning from the planning commission.
Okay.
Financial report to the next council meeting.
Can't hear you all.
There you go. Can you hear it now? Okay, great.
And I would like to add an executive session to the agenda.
Okay. Yes. How about you?
Why would you like for us to add the application for rezoning under city manager's communications, item D? Thank you.
Any other items?
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to add a return to the motion for establishment of assistant city manager. Having voted in favor of that, I would like to recall that motion to the floor for consideration and for clarity.
Okay.
Following executive session.
Following executive session. Okay, great. Okay. All right. Great. So, any other items? Being done, the chair will entertain a motion that we approve the amended agenda. We moved by Councilman Lee,
Second.
second by Councilman Moon. Questions, comments? Those in favor of the motion, please give the sign of aye. Opposed, nay, so be it. The amended agenda is adopted. We'll go now to comments from our citizens communications, 3-minute period. We're ready now for any of our citizens who may want to speak.
Good evening to the mayor and council.
That's kind of high.
Yeah, it's kind of high, but
Take it off.
I'll just take it off and put it back. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to read into the minutes. Okay, so maybe the battery, the red light is on.
Testing. Red
Light is on. Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay. You should have a copy of this letter already, but I would like to read it into the minutes from the Friends of the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site. Dear Mayor Ford, City Council, and citizens of Tuskegee, thank you so much for your support of the Friends of Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site Incorporated. This letter acknowledges receipt of your recent donation of $250. Your donation enables the Friends Incorporated to continue working closely with the National Park Service, thus assuring that the contributions and legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen remains in the hearts and minds of future generations. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Friends of the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site Incorporated, thank you, and please continue your support of the Tuskegee Airmen site. Volunteers are seriously needed as the site faces curtailed hours of operation due to lack of personnel and funding. Volunteers who can guide a group of visitors through Hangar 1, Hangar 2, Skyway Club, etc., while relating the rich history of these hallowed grounds are a crucial part of the solution. The challenge to keep the doors open and landscape beautiful rests squarely on the shoulders of the community and the National Park Service. The Friends Incorporated is committed to working on your behalf to those ends. And this is strictly the chairman's words, I don't know what they mean. Together we can seek and assure that the tailwinds are always at our backs, and achieving Mach 3 speed is past the dark thunder clouds ahead and just over the horizon. Very truly yours, Palmer Sullins, Jr., Chairman. Thank you all so much for your contribution.
Sure, thank you so much. Let's give the Friends of Tuskegee. That's a great job, great job. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Henry Williams, and this is my wife, Wendy. And the reason that we're standing here is for this particular reason. About a year and a half ago, we were having a problem with the water system on Nova Soda Road. But what happened after calling several times, the people who was in charge over there, they came out and did a wonderful job. Every time they called, they knew who we were. And they was able to clean up the brown stuff that was coming out during that particular time. But I just want to say that I appreciate those individuals who was working at the water plant at that time to clear up and correct the problem. That's good news. Every time I come up here, sometimes I hear good news and sometimes I don't. But I just want to add some more good news. My wife has a flyer that she would like to give each one of the councilmen and you too as well, Mayor. We are having a financial expose. We're having, I think I talked loud enough.
That's okay.
We're having a financial expose at our church this coming Friday at 6:30. Even though the flyer may say 6 o'clock, but it's going to be at 6:30. That's at First Tuskegee Seventh-day Adventist Church. And the gentleman that's coming is a man that has shown to us personally what you can do when you trust God and doing the right thing with your funds. And the event is free, it's open to the public, and it's for anybody that really want to come to get their houses in order. And also it can help the city as well if we're having some type of financial difficulty. So she's going to hand this out to you all, and I really appreciate, again, for those individuals who took care of that information for us during that period of time. Thank you.
So how's your water now?
It's clear.
All right. Look at that. That's great. That's outstanding. Okay. We will, are there any others? Yes, go right ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor Ford,
Yes.
City Council, City Manager. We just want to thank you all. We are part of the Park and Recreation, football coach and cheerleading coach. We just want to thank you for your support. Councilman Lee, he's been a big help to us. He's there, he's a water boy, a ball boy, our advisor. So we just want to thank you all. And we have 4 teams in the league. 2 of our teams finished undefeated. They won the league championship. And our little babies, our 5 and 6-year-olds, nobody scored on them this year. So we're getting ready to go to the playoff, and we just want to ask you to continue the support for us. We have some great kids. All our kids are maybe kind of not bad. We got some good kids. And it's amazing if you just work with these kids and you notice we got some kids. We got a criteria on grades. And the C's and D's went to A's and B's, and the A's and B's went to A's. We just want to ask you to continue to support us. We know money is tight, and we went in with a blind eye, but we came out on top. And you will be surprised at other communities in the surrounding counties didn't even want us in the league. But we went out, we took care of business, we took care of business in a professional way. So we just want to say thank you, and thank you.
Okay, outstanding. This administration has set out to establish a full-time recreation department, and that is exactly what we've been able to do. It is certainly paying off with our young people. It's almost, which one should I go by? That one gives me about 2 or 3 minutes up there. So go right here. You see.
Before you do that, I just want to make a special thank you to Coach Tarver as well. Excuse me one second, sir. For volunteering with the team. I mean, you thanking us for our support, but we'd certainly like to thank you as well. I've seen firsthand, you know, the role that you played in these young men's lives, and it's only just the beginning now. We're changing the culture here in Macon County, and that's what it's all about. It starts at a young age, and you know, people look at the high school sometime and they say, why can't we win the championship? Why can't we go to playoffs? Well, you know, we've always had talent. We have athletes in this community, so now we're starting them not only with the physical and athletic training, but we're making sure that they're getting the right, you know, moral support and the tools that they need to excel. So I just wanted to thank you for those comments, but I just wanted to thank you as well.
Okay, great.
Hello.
Okay, go right here.
Thanks for having me up here. And I love what you said because this is part of what
You want to use the mic?
Pardon?
Mic,
Can you hear me?
only have it.
Okay. Actually, Mayor, okay for us to put together.
Give us your name.
My name is Larry Perry, Senior, from Frank Johnson Cub Group. We are an organization deal with breast cancer, autism, heart and health. We raise awareness and funds for this. November the 8th, we're having a car wash at AutoZone to raise money for breast cancer. And with the mayor, okay, we want to give a community event for that day, bring out the community for our youth. So it would be parents bring your youth day out. So we can all come together with different events and food. So we're getting that together now for November the 8th. And I thank you, Mayor, for allowing us to do that.
Thank you. This is Mrs. Whitehead who was saying about her neighborhood. Yes. Okay, great. It is now 6:15, and the chair will entertain a motion that we go into a public hearing on our budget for the coming fiscal year, for the FY 2015 budget and planning summary. Chair will entertain a motion.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Moved, second by Whitehead. Questions, comments, all in favor of the motion, please give the sign of aye.
Aye.
We're now in the budget hearing. Now, Mr. City Manager, we turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everybody. It's going to be a fairly lengthy process. Sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. Do you have a mic?
Can't hear you.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy it. Okay, this is the City of Tuskegee, Alabama, FY 2015 Budget and Planning Summit. This year, we took a different process in developing the budget this year. We got council a little bit more involved in the process. And during that process, we did what we call visioning and planning. And as part of that planning, we tried to decide how we wanted the city to look and how we wanted the city to operate. And we listed several items in that visioning process in order to guide us in developing the budget. That process took about a month, and that wasn't long enough. We should have started a little earlier. Okay, the visioning process is here. Okay, I trust you all can see that. We listed a lot of different things that we wanted to accomplish. Public safety, judicial system, retention facility, financial stability, infrastructure, gateway access corridors to the city, street paving, signage, drainage, sidewalks, water and sewer planning, quality housing. As you can, don't need to name all of them, but you can see the process that we went through. And after we finished that process, we categorized, we took 5 areas that we wanted to concentrate in. They were public safety, which is 5 areas. Infrastructure, transportation, economic development, and downtown redevelopment. So we had long discussions in those areas to determine which direction we wanted to take the city. And during that process, under public safety, we had that department to come in, the police department to come in, present what they thought they needed in order to keep the city safe. Several of the items that they mentioned were police cars, stun guns, more policemen, and the fire department stated that they needed another truck and another fire station to comply with their ISO requirements. Then on the infrastructure, which most of us are interested in, and that's really the patching and paving of the streets. That department was Public Works, that was Streets and Sanitation Department. They came in, gave their budget. We told them what the council wanted, and they put together a listing of equipment that they would need in order to accomplish that goal. What did they say they needed? Number one, they wanted more money. Wanted a boom cutter, 2 bush hogs, enclosed tractor, jackhammer, air compressor, asphalt spreader, grinder, roller trailer, 2 crew cab trucks, 2 full-size pickup trucks, another boom, motorized tamper, motorized pole digger, and that's what they said they needed to do their job. And after they did that, we asked them what street that they think needed should be prioritized. So they prioritized streets in all 3 of the districts. And we started with Robert Street, Wales Street, Hannah, South Josephine, Azalea, Children Street. You can see the streets there that they chose, and you can see the city is in dire need of doing some paving and patching in the areas. Alabama Avenue, Beasley Street. So, after we got all that information and went through each department, went through their budgets, we put together a budget to present to council. Council went through that budget and decided to eliminate a few things. And we came back to council with another budget with some of their recommendations in it. What you're looking at here now is a summary of the revenue that the city generates or receives. You see sales taxes there of $2,100,000, other taxes levied $270,000, total levy taxes $2 million. You can go on down the line there. License and fee, $5,038,500. And so the revenue that we expect to generate, $10,035,960. So where do we expect to spend those revenues at in each one of the departments? Mayor, City Council, City Manager's Office, Human Resources, on down the line. Major portion of our expenditures are where council's concerns are, and that's public safety. So we got $1,364,488 in the fire department, police department, $2,052,000. Concerns. So in the infrastructure area with these streets, that's another $1 million. And so we got a total expenditure there, which include a savings of $101,020. Give us a balanced budget of $10,035,960. Any questions?
Want to entertain questions now, Mr. Manager?
On that, Alan, you just talked about.
Any questions, anyone? Okay, great. I'll just make a note of your questions, and when he finishes, we can deal with it then.
Okay, the next schedule here is a detailed schedule of the revenue that you saw summarized on the previous schedule. You can see we get revenues from cigarette tax, gasoline tax, sales, personal property tax, lodging tax, and beer tax. So we projected revenues there of $2,695,000 as compared to what we actually received projected through September of $2,598,832. In the prior year, we budgeted $2,759,730 for locally levied taxes. Now, the sales tax. Prior year, $2,200,000, collected $2,014,000, we projected $2,100,000. So that is contemplating us keeping in place the 2-cent sales tax that council enacted 2 years ago. Okay. Other revenue from the local financial institutions, prior year 18,000, collected 11, we budgeted another 18 this year. We collect sales tax from the ABC, that's the liquor store. Motor vehicle, the tax, and another big item here is the Alabama Trust Fund. That's the revenue that the state of Alabama generates from the offshore oil that they distribute to each city in the state of Alabama. So on the state share taxes, we're showing $233,750. We budgeted in the previous year $330,000. We actually collected $204,000 this year. Other sources of revenue would be licenses and permits. This is a major source of revenue that the city receives. We got franchise fees, which is Charter Cable and Alabama Gas Corporation. Then we get the franchise fees from the utility board, that's 5% that the mayor said we are collecting from the utility board. We collected $1,400,000 in the prior year, and we projected $1,500,000. We haven't gotten a good look at the utility board's budget yet. It may be higher than that. Okay, general business licenses. I think our people are doing a pretty good job of collecting that because that's increasing every year, $500,000. Wine tax, construction permits. That this line item here gives us an indication of what kind of construction activity is going on in Tuskegee. And here, now and in the past, not very much construction activity is going on. So we projected about $95,000 in construction permits. That's housing and large buildings. A lot of the construction is done on Tuskegee University campus. And we don't expect them to do too much construction this year. Next two items are the 2-cent occupational license and 1-cent occupational license. The 2-cent didn't change. As if these numbers are based on the employment in Tuskegee. It gives us an indication of what the businesses are doing in terms of hiring people. So we projecting $1,000,008 from the 2-cent and $870,000 from the 1-cent. SCAD is a grant that we received for our senior citizen program. They give us this grant every year, $37,000 for senior citizens. Court fines and fees. Another major area would be garbage and trash collection. So we projected in the prior year $1,390,000. We projected this year $1,330,000. Next area is other revenues, space rental. That's the rental of this auditorium and other facilities that the city has. It's post office rental. We floated a bond to build a new post office. All this revenue is their payment towards bondage. We are receiving from them what we have to pay in terms of the bond. Recreation fees. $23,193 during this fiscal year, and we're projecting $40,100. Our recreation department is doing a pretty good job of finding areas to help them financially. They're looking for grants. They put on programs. They sell food, football games, basketball. This airport gasoline sales is really Eagle Airlines. They us being a not-for-profit entity means we can buy the fuel cheaper than they can. So we buy it and they pay us back. So that's what those numbers are. So they sold bought 103,570 in the prior year and 150,000 related to this year. Next area here is the other financing. This line here, the transfer of special commission, that's the dog track. In prior years, those numbers were in the $300,000 range. Now you can see where they are. We get a 7-cent gasoline tax from the state and a 4-cent gasoline tax from the state. So that gives us our total revenues of $10,035,960 in detail. Question?
You rushed across the court fines. Would you please go back there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any further questions on the detailed schedule of revenues?
Well, this is not a question, so to speak, but I guess I'll put it this way. I saw that there is a budget of $2 million plus. And there is a rainy day fund of $101,000, something like that.
Yes.
Is there any particular reason why, is that an
Tim Haygood thought that one of the areas during our visioning session that we need to establish a reserve fund for in case we didn't generate enough revenues in a particular month. We would have a savings account set aside that we could go to and get those, help the general fund out. So it's not, it's really based on, we want to collect in a rainy day fund of over $500,000. And to date, we got about 390 kids.
It's already there.
Already there.
That's the annual, that's what's projected. It's the surplus at the end of the budget year.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manager. As he expressed, when we talked about councilman, mayor, and city manager, we look at other cities, and look at the city of Montgomery, they just put in a rainy day fund of $2 million. They have a much larger budget, but when you're operating a large operation like the city manager, as manager, if you have any department that makes a shortfall, you have to be able to have some resources to put your hands on immediately. As we transition to a stronger financial position, we can't go to the bank and know that the bank is going to give it to us like it used to in the past. So it's critical for us to establish a strong rainy day fund so we can do that ourselves. And we have to go to the bank, we've got something there to work with us on. We had to do it once this year, unfortunately we had it there and put us in a good position. We also had to retire something immediately. Unfortunately, we had the money there to go ahead and take care of something that could have cost us a lot of money. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah. Okay, this schedule here is the schedule of the breakdown of how the budget for each department is spent. Personnel, travel, training, equipment, supplies, operations, capital outlays, and grant matching funds, appropriations. So you can see how we spent the budget in terms of the mayor and council. $75,000 in personnel. Travel training, they go to various seminars all over the state. We're not budgeting any equipment in that department. Supplies, general operations. Total budget $141,000. City manager's office, personnel, $286,000, travel training, equipment, supplies, operations. We projecting now $307,000 budget. City clerk, human resources, information technology, finance. Personnel have 243, 75, 60. Executive budget $276,000. Municipal court, community development, airport, building inspection, park and recreation, fire and police department, big dollars. And public works, that's $3 million, administration, streets, and sanitation. So their expenditure to a little over $1,500,000 for that department. And the garbage fee that we have to collect pretty much pay for that department. Senior citizens, summer youth programs that we have every year, general operations, debt service, $789,000. Expenditures, $9,934,940. That's how we determine the rainy day fund, whatever is left. We put in the rainy day fund. That'll go for the excess revenue budget. Question?
Back up there where you had the mayor and the council, they'll break out.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the last item, we just have an analysis of all of that activity. And we just go down the line, talking about what happened in each department. Mayor, for example, the mayor and city council budget increased by 5.32% or $6,131 over FY 2014. Conferences and training increased by 4,000. Cost of gas purchases increased by 3. In the city manager's office, the budget decreased by 12.71%. 4.5 full-time employees in that department. City clerk's office, you can see we're talking about a one-time cost of living increase in each department, just showing 3%. So at the end of this page, you'll see what the total 3% came to. Human resources, just an analysis of what happened in this department and the number of employees in it. This report, community and economic development, that budget increased by 12.99% or $43,940. Some major capital expenditures contemplated there. We want to put a roof on that building. That cost was about $90,000. Interior repairs, $25,000, and they want to be $5,000. That's $5,000, and we're talking about 3% one-time cost of living increase there. 5 full-time employees, airport, building inspection, parks and recreation, fire department. Budget increased back to 22.02%. The budget contemplates filling the budgeted vacancies from the prior year. As I said before, they need another fire truck and an additional location so they can improve their ISO rating. The better the ISO ratings in the neighborhood, the lower your insurance rates are. So they got 24 full-time employees. Police department, police services, public works. Stop me if you want to ask a question on it. Okay, public works, 12 full-time employees and some major budget expenditures there. We have to take out the trash, garbage to a landfill in Tallahassee. That's costing us $145,000 a year. The garbage truck is being financed, so the principal and interest there is $36,768 a year. In order to stop taking so much trash to the landfill in Tallahassee, we're trying to redevelop our landfill. So we put some compliance dollars there, $50,000. Senior citizens, General administration is, a lot of activity goes on in that fund. So there are some major expenditures there. We got general liability insurance, $300,000. Workers' comp insurance, $185,000. And we expect to do some economic development there, so we got Macon County Economic Development, $15,000. We want to develop the Commerce Park, $25,000. Want to do what we can at Acre 38. Our computer network, we are in the process of demolishing houses, so we got a cost there of $41,000, and we expect to match some grants that we're going to be applying for, $50. Debt service, what makes up that $700,000, we got general obligation warrants, annual of $482,000, gasoline tax $106,000, and the IRS loan payment $200. The 3% that we were looking at all up and down the line, total salaries on that came $4,022,000. So that's $120,664. So we have matched that in terms of the FICA taxes. So the 3% cost of living increase is going to cost $129.89. Any questions? Council, please my budget summary report. Any further questions?
Council lady.
One question. For the former director of senior citizens, are we paying them monthly or one lump sum?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
She has approved annual leave that has built up over the years. That's true throughout the city. We got approved annual leave with most of the employees. So we have to pay annual leave.
A couple of brief things, Mr. City Manager, Mr. Mayor, if I could. We did want to mention, as we went through this, there's a substantial increase in Blue Cross Blue Shield. So when you look at personnel, that's a major part of the increase. And the city manager kept reminding us that as we went through the budget. City of Tuskegee pays very well its employees, and we're pleased to do that. I think as a council, we agreed to that, to continue that. But we pay excellent benefits in terms of insurance. Blue Cross Blue Shield, we pay the greater amount of that when you compare it to other employers. I'm employed somewhere else and have been employed in other places, and benefit is an excellent benefit for employees. So that's a major part of the increase. So when you see some of that increase, it's due to the substantial increase in Blue Cross Blue Shield. Mr. Williams, the city manager, that you asked about, and we may not clarify that the rainy day fund goes in monthly, and it's intended to get to that amount at the end of the year. One time we were putting in monthly about $20,000. But this doesn't put in that, so I will be pushing to get it back to that level and get back to where we were. Because had we been putting that in and had we not had to borrow from it, we at this month would have reached $500,000 between the two. So it's an excellent goal. Appreciate the city manager working on it. But as one councilman working with the other council members, I'll be pushing hard to get that back because we were working towards that. Got close and had a little setback. But it goes in monthly. And at the end of the year, it's intended to get us there. So even as we go along, something comes up, we have a substantial reserve.
Good point, Mr. Pro Tem. Now, any other questions? Any questions?
I have one question, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager. I know we talked about this at one time, the Head Start admin fee. That's for
Administrative, we sign a check. Another check over there, we do some HR work for from time to time. Not very much.
Okay.
city manager has laid it all out for you. This represents several weeks of the council and the mayor meeting with the city manager and his department heads. They came before the council, presented their budgets. So back and forth, cutting until finally we have a balanced budget, which includes a 3% across the board for our employees. We all wish we could be more. However, the cost of insurance and other costs makes it difficult. One thing that the city want all of the citizens to know, this budget does not include an increase in taxes over what you're paying now in taxes. Occupational tax, that will remain the same. Other taxes. What we will adopt later on is a gasoline tax ordinance, which is simply reinforcing and putting into place a tax that is already in existence on gasoline, 4 cents. But no increases in taxes. And let me just say now, on behalf of the Utilities Board, the Utilities Board has adopted its budget for the coming year. You can go online to the Utilities Board webpage and you'll be able to see that budget and any questions that you may have on the utility side. The utility budget and the city, the two work hand in hand. As I indicated earlier to those of you who may not have been here earlier during the work session, I indicated that it has been a great honor for me to be able to serve as chairman of the Utilities Board as well as mayor. That may have been necessary in the beginning to make sure that there was cooperation and working in harmony between the Utilities Board and the general government. But both of our governments have come a long ways over the last 2 years. I'm pleased to be able to say that the Utilities Board has adopted a budget for the coming year, and that budget does not possess or include an increase on electrical rates or utility rates. The only adjustment will be made on is in the sewer rates, because that was established during a previous administration. On the utility side, the major expenditure there in the major project is for a $10 million 10-mile sewer line that redirects our sewage wastewater from the south plant to the north side. But the major thing that we're pleased is that now on the utility side, 5% of the gross franchise fee for the total system is being collected, and the city is receiving its 5% on the total system. And this gives the city that line item you saw on the franchise fee. What are you proposing next year? About $1.5 million that will come to the city and helps to stabilize our city government. So I'm very pleased, and we're all very pleased that the two governmental bodies are working hand in hand. Tonight, I want to be able to say to the council, thank you for allowing me to serve on the Utilities Board. By working together, I think that both governments have come a long, long ways. I'm very pleased and I'm hopeful that when we get down later in the budget, the council can appoint someone to the Utilities Board to replace yours truly. What does that mean? It means that if the lights go out, and they seldom do anymore, that means I would not have to get up in the middle of the night. Seriously, that's one of the things that we are proud of on the Utility Board, is that we're running a 99% efficiency in terms of our lights. There used to be a time, every time there was a storm, the lights went out. But the overall system has been improved. So, Mr. City Manager, good job on the city government side. Mr. Samuel and Mr. Long on the utility side, they've already presented their budgets. And the two, the city manager and the general manager on the utility, they'll work hand in hand on issues like franchise and sharing equipment and those kinds of things later. So if there are no further questions on the budget, the chair will entertain a motion now that we come out of public hearing and return to our regular council meeting. First, let's give the city manager, the city department heads, and all of them, and your council members for all of those meetings that you all had as well. And as we've indicated, the 3% is a cost of living now. The council will be considering other salary adjustments that the city manager will make and may make in the future, in the very near future. Chair will entertain a motion that we come out of, moved by Whitehead, second by Haygood. Questions, comments? Those in favor of the motion, please give the sign of aye. Opposed, nay, so be it. Again, thank you, Mr. City Manager. We will now go return to the regular agenda. Were there any other comments from citizens during our citizens' communications period?
Sir, I was just going to ask that you all use your mics better, because trying to videotape you and then present you to the public, and which he has to do, is not really effective because you sit too far back and can't nobody hear you.
Thank you so much, council members, and we'll try to do a better job on that. Make sure all the mics are working. You have, okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Frazier.
Yes, sir.
We'll proceed now to various communications, city council work session. We had that earlier.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Approval of the minutes.
Thanks, Mr. Attorney. That's why we help each other in this business. Chair will entertain a motion for approval of item number 5, approval, item number 6, approval of the minutes for October 14th, 2014. Moved by Whitehead. Second by Pro Tem. Questions, comments? That the minutes be approved as circulated. All in favor of the motion, please give the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. So be it. Now, the next item we have is, okay, communications. City Council workshop. Now, we had, Mr. City Manager, Mr. Alexander, I'm sure spoke to you as well about a Tiger Spirit package store that they are working on. Can you just give the council an update in terms of how they're coming?
Mr. Alexander initially opened up the place and decided he wanted to open up a liquor store at that location. The fire marshal, the building inspector, and me. We went there and looked at the place. They approved it. So it's occupiable. It's just one item. I think the fire marshal said they need to change the way the door swings in and out. However, the other items would be the police haven't done their report. Building inspections have done theirs. The fire marshal has not finished here. So some reports are missing.
Still some reports.
Right.
So hopefully on the next council meeting,
Yes.
put it on the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, outstanding.
Mr.
Yes.
Is he still operating without these permits?
He's not operating.
Okay, thank you.
He was trying to get operational by homecoming, but apparently that didn't happen. He's requesting, so you'll put it
Thank
on
you,
the
Mr.
next.
City Manager.
Mr. Mayor, Mr.
Yes.
Manager, my concern would be that we ask Mr. Alexander and his partners to please consider parking. And I say this for any business, any apartments, any kind of activity we operate there because too often we start out with insufficient parking and it becomes a problem. And that location, not only the liquor store, but the other store that was there, really parking was a challenge there. It's one of the main areas of business coming to town and turning that corner is difficult. So please ask them to be as creative as they can. in terms of structure.
We dealt with that, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. He can't park in front of the store at all, so he have to park in the lot beside it.
Okay, thank you. That was my concern about in the past. I used to go to the, not the liquor store.
That's all right.
But I did visit it, but I mainly went to Mr. Thomas' store, and even parking out here, parking at the side, and it was very difficult to get up in it. So thank you, Mr. Alexander.
Okay, all right, we will go now to continue with the next council meeting. Falls on November the 11th, which is Veterans Day. And we talked about the possibility of moving the council meeting to that Thursday, 11th, 12th, 13th. How about that? Is that the general consensus?
At this time, Mr. Mayor, that seems to be an open date for me.
Okay, it's okay. Huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, so, and if the council decides to do something, but right now, for the benefit of the public, since we're paying respect to our veterans on that day, it is an official holiday. We will not have a city council meeting on the 11th. We'll move that to the 13th. That way, we can celebrate the service that our veterans have rendered to our country for the most of the week. And the county and the city and a number of us are all working together. City staff have been working with them to have a Veterans Day parade or program downtown Tuskegee, similar to what we did last year. The VA in the past held Veterans Day parades, but due to budget cutbacks, they no longer have the parades at the VA hospital. So we think that our veterans need to be given paid respect and given honor to, and so we're looking forward to participating in that event. It's scheduled, I think, at 12:30 on the 14th during the day, so that the students in the public schools will also be able to participate in that event. Okay, Veterans Day. Any questions? Any other suggestions? Breast Cancer Awareness Reception, October the 30th, 2014, 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. That will be held at the Thomas Reed Ambulatory Care. That's the Thomas Reed Health Center. So please put that on your calendar. We've had quite a few events during this month to signify how important it is to fight against breast cancer. It is something that our nation continues to grapple with and trying to find a cure. And we want to thank all of the many organizations who wore pink, and we had an activity here at City Hall, as a matter of fact, as well. So Breast Cancer Week will be wrapping up on October the 30th. TU, SGA, other agencies, communications. We had a great homecoming, 2014, won the game, great parade, a lot of excitement. And we want to thank everyone for working so hard to make the city look clean and beautiful. We want to thank people for decorating their homes and mailboxes and storefronts with the TU colors. It was a great homecoming. And it was good to see so many friends and returning alumni from across the country. So if there's anyone at TU tonight, at this time we'd be happy to recognize you. TU, I do see the Lees here, former chairman of our county commission, Honorable Frank Lee, always good to see you, and Attorney Lee. If If any of you all have any comments, please let us know. Okay. All right. I was very pleased to note that two of the leaders on campus are from Tuskegee, Mr. Clemens, Mr. Tuskegee, and another young man, one of his associates. So that made us very proud. They were introduced at homecoming. We'll go now to City Manager's communications. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Under council updates, first of all, council, we made it through homecoming weekend safely. And I want to thank my people, the police, fire department, public works. They did an outstanding job in keeping order and cleaning up the streets. After homecoming was over, they went back out and cleaned the streets again. But I want to thank them for that. Mr. Lee, in connection with Washington Avenue, the church, I think we started putting down some speed bumps over there. The traffic light just came in today, so we ought to be working on that starting tomorrow. I think there was one other area, and that's the VA road. They still got some concerns over there about the speed of the traffic. We did what we could. Looked like we had to put a light over there, a signal light there, and maybe some speed bumps there also. Okay, street maintenance, now city council concerns, appointment of utility board to the utility board. I think the mayor has spoke on that subject quite a bit tonight. So whatever the council's pleasure is at this time.
Why don't we go ahead and do this because it's on the council agenda. Let me again say I want to thank the council for appointing me to the Utilities Board. It's been a busy 2 years, and we have worked to try to have harmony between the Utilities Board and the City of Tuskegee. And I think that has proven to be very effective. I want to also say that the thing that I perhaps am most proud of is the fact that our franchise fee is now solidified in terms of the city receiving 5% of the franchise fee for the total system. That was not the case before this administration. I'm also very pleased that our sewer line project is well underway, all the way to Franklin now, and that should be wrapping up around the first of the year. And we're very pleased that our utility system is running a 99% efficiency rate in terms of our lights being on, and overall the system is operating well. The budget has been adopted for the year, and the Utilities Board is ready to move forward. I am so happy to have been able to serve in all of these positions as mayor, chairman of the Utilities Board, chairman of the corporate district, appointments to the housing authorities, MCCR. But it just makes sense for us to allow others to serve as well. So a few months ago, I wrote in the newspaper, the Tuskegee News, some of the things that we hope to accomplish within a 90-day period. And I'm pleased to stand here today to say that that 90-day period has come. While we have not been able to accomplish all of those things, and I'm primarily on the utility side, we have accomplished some of them, and the others are still underway. I am just humbled to have been able to serve, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work the city and the Utilities Board together, and that's why it's good to have younger people who are in a position of leadership and who can step up and make sure that we continue to move forward. Our next Utility Board meeting is not until next month. The Utility Board changes meeting around in order to make it more possible for all of us to be in attendance. And I forgot to, but I had actually planned to resign from the Utilities Board during this month so that it would clear the way for a new appointment. So tonight, the time has come for the council to now appoint someone to the Utilities Board who can continue this cooperation and working together. And I can assure you that the Utilities Board is in good hands. James Samuel is the general manager. Mr. Gerald Long is the assistant general manager, who is a CPA and does a good job of keeping up with all of the monies in that system. And it is a major business. So I turn it over to you, and that's my report, having been your representative, one of your representatives. Of course, Mr. Lee continues to serve because he has a 4-year term, and I had the 2-year term. So, now I open it up now for the council to make an appointment to replace me on the utility board.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Mayor Ford, for your service over the past 2 years on the Utilities Board. As you said, we definitely got a lot accomplished. We made some strides in a positive direction. We disagree sometimes, but that's okay. We disagree without being disagreeable. That's one thing that I can always, a quote that I will always take from you and move forward. But at this time, I would like to, I guess, nominate, make a motion to nominate Councilman Tony Haygood on the Utilities Board of Tuskegee.
Second.
It is moved and probably second. Questions, comments? And I want to say that that is a good recommendation. I support it 100%. And all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposers, nay. Let's give him a hand. So when the lights go out at night, let's say, here's Tony.
They're not gonna.
But we're doing real good. We've got a 99% efficiency, and we're going to keep it going. Real good. All of this is progress in the works, and we're going to continue to work hand in hand. We'll go now to the next item, Mr. City Manager.
Mr. Mayor, the next item on the city manager's concerns is the a rezoning application from the Planning Commission. This is an application for rezoning property located at 1003 New Street, Tuskegee, Alabama. I have a letter here from the chairman, Mr. Rosdale Chapea Jr. He states during our regular Planning Commission meeting held October 21, 2014, Planning Commission held a public hearing to consider an application for rezoning the above-mentioned property, 1003 New Street. After listening to the petitioner, Mr. Fred Wilson Jr. and citizens present at the hearing, it is our recommendation to rezone the above property with a legal description attached from R1 to R3. So I present this application to council for its approval.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Yes, Your Honor, you're on the Planning Commission.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was just going to say, I do see Mr. Wilson and his daughter in the audience, and we were both in attendance at that meeting. And I recommend that we accept the recommendation from the Planning Commission to rezone from R1 to R3. That's 1003 New Street.
Okay.
And I concur, Planning Commission.
Okay. Good. It's been moved and properly second. Questions, comments?
Philip supported me. I
Yes.
just want to get an understanding
Go
of
ahead.
what R1 to R3 is.
Okay. Mr. Residential is from R1 to what?
R3.
To R3. Go ahead. R1 is residential and R3 is multi. Go ahead. Mix of multi. gives you more flexibility. R1 is strictly residential, but R3, I think,
Still
allows
residential, but
apartments, complexes, subdivisions,
they can be affordable.
Yeah.
I'm good.
more flexible. Okay?
Ready for the question, Mayor?
All in favor of the motion, give the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. So be it. The motion is carried. Okay? Next.
The next item on the city manager's section is the Head Start report. I believe the Head Start director is here, Ms. Nanette Phillips, to present her report.
Madam Director. Right down. Yes, a mic.
Good evening. Wow. That's a good mic.
Yeah.
Mayor, council members, city manager, city clerk, attorney, and citizens. Good evening. There are several items before you under the director's report. First, you have the director's report that includes specific highlights, tasks, meetings, and activities that occurred for the month of September. Next, you will see the enrollment report. We are currently meeting our funded enrollment of 291. Our funds were recently restored, so that we can serve 8 additional children. So on our October report, you will see funded enrollment of 299. With the help of the city manager, we were able to secure space at one of our current sites to where we'll be able to serve those 8 additional children. And the Housing Authority has put in agreement with us to be able to serve the children there. So you will see that reflected in the next report, the October's report. We are having a challenge, however, with attendance. Federal requirement states that we must maintain a minimum of 85% attendance. You will see for the month of September, attendance fell to 83.4, or if we rounded 83.5, and when it falls below, we just have to indicate the reasons, and you will see the reasons indicated. Next, you will see the monthly summary of meals and snacks provided through USDA. We are required to share with you the number of meals that were served at each of our 5 sites. You will see next our revenue and expenditure report, including our credit card report. Our Head Start budget is a $2.2 million budget. As of the month end of September 30, you will see that 83.65% was expended, and that's right on target. So you will see the finals, before the finals of the next budget. If you move on over, we received our comprehensive federal monitoring review process letter. This is the year for our federal review. Previously, the federal team would come in every 3 years to review a program, but since now that we're a 5-year grantee, the process has changed. There will be a 5-event review. For FY 2015, which is this current year we're in, we will receive 3 separate reviews. Generally, they will give the director a phone call and assess the situation, and then send a letter at least 30 days prior to the review. So we will keep you informed on what will be reviewed. The 3 areas that will be assessed for FY 2015 are environmental health and safety, class, which is classroom assessment scoring system, where the team goes in to look at the teacher-child interaction and the quality of the classroom, and fiscal integrity and ERSI. ERSI is our eligibility, recruitment, selection, enrollment, and attendance. So we're expecting 3 reviews this year. FY 16 will have 2 reviews, and FY 17 will be our evaluation and determination, and in the last year we will not have a review. So I will be getting with the board board for your participation when we get to the management systems and governance area, because a couple of board members will be interviewed. We'll make sure you're prepared. Next, you will see a monitoring plan. Our program developed a monitoring plan just to ensure we're staying in compliance with operations. There are 11 systems here, and we just developed the method for monitoring, the frequency for monitoring, and which staff ensures that those things are done. It's a very lengthy plan, so I'm pretty sure you already read it. And the last item is our data collection plan. We developed this plan so that we can see how we're progressing and identify any areas for improvement. This lists the areas and our purpose for the data collection, what questions we're going to ask to collect the data, the method we're going to use, our resources, the lead position that's responsible for that, and also our time frame. So this will help keep us on track to see how we're progressing. That ends the report. Any questions?
Good, thank you, Madam Director.
Would you bring us up to date on the update plan for the construction?
Okay, you just reminded me when you said that. The city manager and I had a conference call with the Head Start Facilities consultant, just to make sure that the application that we're working on won't have any errors when we send it in to the federal government. We do have to bring it to the board and policy council for approval beforehand as well. So our current steps are the city manager and I, the city manager is setting up a meeting to discuss and perhaps go back to the funding sources who agreed to fund the project before and see if they're still willing. The consultant is having the original architects who drew the plans to review the plans to see if they are meeting current code and to see if the building can be built at that cost at that time. It was 4 years ago. So we're believing that the consultant can get the architects to do that for pro bono. So we won't have to cover costs. Because if we have to cover costs, we have to get prior approval from regional office. And all the other aspects of the application are merely updates and to go back to those areas and get new signatures as well, because it's a new council. That's where we are.
Any questions?
I have one.
Yes.
Ms. Phillips, are we penalized when we fall short in attendance?
We're not penalized, we just have to document and come up with strategies to encourage parents. One strategy we've already implemented is perfect attendance certificate. And it seems to be spreading very well. Those children who attend with no absences, we honor them and their parent with a certificate. So it's spreading because the other children want to come to school so they can get a certificate. So we just have to come up with different strategies and techniques. We're not penalized.
That's great. Thank you for a good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, to my colleagues, as your liaison to the Head Start program, I attended the last policy council meeting, and it was quite an event because we have a new policy council now. And that election process was carried out effectively, and if we could get copies of the new policy council, we'll have copies for you at our next meeting.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other questions, comments relative to Head Start? Yes.
I just want to echo Mayor and say thank you. It's a very thorough report.
Mr. Pro Tem.
Just want to echo and say thank you. It's a very thorough report, and it shows what you're doing to you and the staff, and we realize that you're doing an excellent job. Sometimes we don't realize what goes into a federal report, but if you see what we have, you can see how much work is going into that in addition to dealing with young people. So thank you for what you're doing and continue to do for particularly our young people. Thank you.
Thank you, and I do give a lot of credit to my team.
Great. Let's give her a hand. Thank you so very much. Chair will entertain a motion that we second by Whitehead. Questions, comments? Those in favor of the motion give the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay, so be it. Next item.
Next item on the agenda, Mr. Mayor and Council, is the RDS contract for undiscovered business licenses. That's an annual contract we signed with them to allow them to search for businesses that are operating in Tuskegee and our police jurisdiction has not paid their license. So it's just a search process. And as they find them, we split the fees. They get 50% and we get 50%. But that's just for that one time. After that, all of the fees come to the city. So at this time, I'm asking for approval of that contract.
Honorable council members, you have a copy of the contract in your folders. If you're ready, the chair will entertain a motion. Moved by the Pro Tem.
Second.
Second by Council Lady Moon. Questions, comments? Being none, those in favor of the motion, please give the sign of aye. Opposed is nay, so be it. So that's, we can move forward with that.
Thank you.
The next item, G, the 4% fuel tax ordinance. As we indicated before, this is not a new tax on gasoline. It's just to give us an ordinance for the one that we can't find at the moment. And we'll make sure that this one is codified and will be a part of our permanent record. Chair will entertain a motion that we, is this first hearing?
First reading.
Good. First reading. All right. So the first reading, we'll deal with it at the next council meeting. Next item is announcements. H. Store opening job announcement, Farmers Furniture.
Mr. Torrey Jones was supposed to be here, but he did want to let everybody know the store was opening in November, 1st of November. And they do have job openings, and he's doing his interviewing right there at the store. So anybody interested, please stop by. I'm sorry he couldn't be here to talk about what his plans for the store, but
Okay.
What store, sir?
that's the Farmers Furniture.
We've already put the sign up that it should be opening shortly. Down at the shopping center today and noticed that they are working in a couple vacant areas. We have requested the Macon County Economic Development Authority to do a feasibility study on a grocery store, an upscale grocery store, as a matter of fact. And we'll be waiting for that survey to be completed. We've been in touch with them. I've been in touch with Dr. Winston on it. That would complement that shopping center quite a bit to have a nice grocery store in there as well. Okay, next item, ordinance number 2015-1, ordinance on 4% fuel tax. This is the first reading. We've already acknowledged that, so we'll continue to move. Resolutions, any other resolutions? City Attorney's report. Mr. Attorney.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, good evening again. The city received a notice of a couple of claims that have been filed and disposed of, or at least rejected by the insurance company. Also, we have discussed with bond counsel and when necessary with the city manager and Your Honor concerning the Exit 38 project, and anticipating having more to say on that on Thursday at the joint meeting between the council, the utilities board, and the UPT Tuskegee Cooperative District. Other than that, we continue to work on the day-to-day litigation and have the written confidential report for your perusal this evening.
Any questions for the attorney? Okay, thank you, Mr. Attorney. Mr. City Manager, any other items? Honorable council members, any other items?
Executive session.
We'd like to go now, the chair will entertain a motion that we go into.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
before we go to executive session, I didn't get a chance to thank the council for selecting me to serve on the Utilities Board. I look forward to it and working with the rest of the Utilities Board and continuing the 90% efficiency rate that you referred to, and to do whatever we can to continue to strengthen the Utilities Board and provide the best of service we can to the citizens of Tuskegee and Macon County, or whatever Utility Board serves. So I do thank you, and thank you for the confidence you placed in me, and I look forward to serving. Thank you.
Great. Any other comments? Chair will entertain a motion that we go into executive session. So moved by Kim.
Second.
Second by Moon. Questions, comments? Those in favor of the motion give a sign of aye.
Aye.
Those nays, so be it. Okay, we can have it right here, and if those who are here would excuse us for a brief executive session, and then you can come back and join us. Sure. Thank you.